Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, welcome back to another high level best of 3 from the GSL. Today we have the winners match from Group D. So after the first two matches complete, the two winners of match 1 and match 2 play one another in match number 3. And as both DRG and Nightmare managed to win, Nightmare taking out Pian and DRG, surprisingly I would say, taking out Solar, these guys ended up fighting one another, which I don't think a lot of people would have expected, but I've been saying for a while now, Nightmare is one of these guys that I think makes a pretty decent case for being the second best toss in Korea, and also a pretty decent case for being the third best toss in the world. I really think it's kind of close between him and Classic. Like, really quite close between him and Classic. I personally feel that in the PvP matchup, Nightmare is a little bit scarier. But you're always going to be biased as to how good people are in the matchup you play against them. So whenever I talk with other players, especially with Zergs, they say, Classic is better. Terrence, I do believe that Nightmare is better. So yeah, to me, it's a little bit of a toss-up between these two. But yeah, he's someone that I really respect, and I've been respecting for a couple of months now. Like, looking in plays, like, man, that's impressive stuff. He was going to be doing here, for now it seems to be a Glaive 2-gate plus robotics facility. This is an odd build. I don't really see this one ever. And I'm kind of confused. This is weird. Like, really weird. Late third gate? So, to me it feels like it's going to be like some amount of gates. I'd assume 3. Plus a prism going across the map. We're gonna have 3 units being built pre-warp gate finishing, and then we're getting a prism out on the way as well. So the question that I have here is actually quite simple. What time is this gonna hit, and how hard is it gonna hit? And these are usually the only questions worth answering when you're evaluating a build order. So he's probably not going to hit very hard. He's gonna get 7 adepts at around 4 minutes and 26 seconds. He's gonna get 10 adepts at 4 minutes and 47 seconds. So that is not a very tight timing. That is not a very hard-hitting timing. This is the type of timing that can be held with pure Queen Ling. The Baneling Nest is here for counter-attack possibilities. So why is this build hitting so weak? It's because he wants a fast third base with it. So Nightmare here says, hey, my initial attack is not going to be too strong, but my economic follow-up is quite decent. And I have a quick prism. I might be capable of killing a couple of workers. His goal here is, in my mind, adept preservation and drone killing. It is not to clear a lot of links. He's not going to finish a single shade here. Like, the real power is going to be in this moment when the adept shows up. You're going to have 3-4 adepts at the front and then a couple of adepts in the prism. So this is, although this doesn't actually look okay because he's now going to get surrounded, this is a build with a different goal than like a 4-gate glaive or a 4-gate robo glaive. Like, this is very, very different. So we have a triple adept warp in now at home. Nexus has finished up. 3 more gates. Kind of follows up with a Immortal 6-gate. But he's just lost 7 adepts for free. So this has been an extremely poor start. His opponent has been droning pretty linearly. There's no tricks here that DRG needed to pull to get these bad boys out. It's like, okay, just straight up links into straight up drones. Like, it's no little hops he needed to make. 1-2 drones here. Do I need a spore? Do I need this? No. He actually got everything he wanted. He's now throwing down his Evo chamber. That is a sign that the Zerg feels pretty secure. We see a 4th base coming down as well. We have a Roach Warren. And against this type of play, the ideal type of tech that you have is actually Roach Warren plus Baneling Nest. Versus high adept counts, having a couple of Banelings is really nice. But you also need Roaches for that consistent damage output. So I love what DRG is doing here. He's on a good worker count. I'm shocked to see Nightmare now transitioning into Blink. This is going to take a very long time. He's also not adding any more Immortals behind this. So this is a single Immortal, no Stalker, Blink Glaive attack. And he's getting a Robo Bay. No Forge still. So this is extremely all in, but we have the Blink research as well as the Robotics Bay. that are serious investments that are not going to finish for this push. Like, just because you have a worker count that is relatively close to your opponents doesn't mean this isn't an all-in. This is still an all-in. He needs to get a lot done with this. And canceling a fort base by itself is simply not going to be good enough. It really isn't. I also believe that DRG can just hold this fort base. Does he have the centrifugal hooks? He doesn't. That would have been a great thing to have here. It really would have. A couple of transfuses now coming down. Base is going to end up falling as we get a minor surround here on these adepts, but the adepts escape. I'm legit zero worried here for DRG, despite him just losing a fort base pretty much for free, unnecessarily. There are no gases yet on this base. Like, DRG sees this, like, wait, what? Am I worried here? Like, no, I'm not at all. There's no upgrades. There's no nothing. I'm getting my melee stuff. What is your tech? Like, your tech sucks probably, and let's face it, Nightmare's tech does suck. Hasn't used his robotics bay once yet. I'm assuming it's going to be for Colossus, but by the time you have one Colossus out, you're probably going to be dead already. Is the opponent now building 21 Banes? No Baneling speed is bothering me a bit. That does bother me. I would have loved to see Baneling speed here for this upcoming push, which is inevitably going to be sent. And the problem here that Nightmare has is that he has pure gateway units against a very high Baneling count, which is a story that doesn't usually end very well. This is no Disney fairy tale, my dear friends. Not for the Protoss at least. As Banelings absolutely wreck both Stalkers and Adepts. There is no Storm, there's no Colossus, there are no Disruptors. So good luck, my dear friend. As they don't have the centrifugal hooks, they're not as quick as they usually would be. The spread is okay out of Nightmare, but it's just not going to be good enough. At the same time, we have a split of army that's dealing a crap ton of damage on the other side. This third base in serious trouble. Do see the Stalkers now trying to blink through. There's just a couple of roaches here left remaining, but every single link that comes in is going to be such a huge one because the adept count is very low. And links with +1 versus Stalkers, that's a great fight that Protoss can't really take. Roaches plus Queen plus Ling is pushing this back. Third base has died. The roaches that were attacking are now coming back for a flank as well. And although Blink is here, a couple more Stalkers will end up falling. First Colossus is out 9 minutes into the game without thermal lens, without +1. There is a forge. I mean, this is one of the sloppiest build orders that I've seen in the GSL in a while. I'm not a fan at all of how Nightmare executed this, like whatsoever. I understand that there was a bigger plan here, and I think his plan, got destroyed a little bit the moment he lost the 7 adepts for free. But then this follow-up felt very underwhelming, and it still feels very underwhelming. DRG now confident enough to throw down an infestation pit, but he's honestly in an impossible situation to lose. Here it comes. Ooh, that was a nice pickup out of Nightmare. Holy crap, he dodged like freaking 16, 17 roach shots there, but even with that initial move, it doesn't really matter as the roach count is too high. The Stalker Immortal Colossus count simply too low. And that's going to most likely be it for game number 1, as this is a 2-base all-in. GG gets called. DRG gets the victory. Alright, we're in game number 2. DRG 1 map away from advancing. I feel like if you would have asked before GSL started whether DRG would qualify for the GSL, I think a lot of people wouldn't have been sure. Like, he hasn't had the greatest performances as of late. And then him getting out of the group, I think especially in a group with both Beyond and Solar, is such an unrealistic thing. Oh, add Nightmare to that list as well. I really think that DRG is the lowest ranked player in this group in general. The player people look, it's like, oh, he's padding for Group D. But DRG is showing here that he's capable of a lot. I'm kind of disappointed in Nightmare though. That was not a cool build order whatsoever. Very disappointing. I think Ghost River has potential for build orders. Like, there are a lot of builds you can get away with on Ghost River that are pretty freaking tight, but this wasn't one of them for sure. As we're going to have what are we going to have here, DRG? 3 bases. Standard speed timing. I do like that. Adapt into Warp Gate skip. So we're going to see a Stargate come down here, and indeed, Stargate start. Nightmare does something really funny. Actually, one of the reasons why I like Nightmare quite a bit, and I think I'm a bit biased towards him when I'm thinking of him compared to other players, is because he does his own thing. Like, he doesn't really care so much what the actual meta is. He just does things he thinks are good. So for example, in the Protoss versus Terran matchup, we've seen him do just a lot of like heavy 2-base plays, big gas count, and then going into Templar Archives and charge on a 3-base eco with very specific timings, which indicate that, you know, he knows what he's doing. He's not just improvising. He's not freestyling. It's the same every game, but it's different from what everyone else does. Completely different from what everyone else does. And then when it comes to PvZ, his build orders, well, I mean, that last game build order was definitely different, but I didn't like it. But the execution that he uses is often very different. So he's a player that loves using the first Oracle rather than for scouting and clearing workers, just for staying at home and taking out an Overlord. And he's absolutely happy to do stuff like that. Like, he has no problem with it. The third queen is now on the way out, as we can see. And this Oracle is just going to help to take that third base. This is a very consistent way of playing what Nightmare does here. A very, very consistent way. Because you're never going to lose your third base to any type of Ling attack. You're never going to get scouted by an Overlord because you're always killing it. I think if you're a Zerg and you realize this, your Overlord probably should be in a different location. Like the moment after you see the first 2 adepts, you just fly it back here or something. Like further away, I think would be a good play. Right now we're going to see an Evo Chamber pop out for DRG. And we'll have to wait and see what the follow-up is going to be. Okay, triple Oracle out of Nightmare. So there's 2 major school of thoughts in the Oracle play right now. You have the double Oracle, the triple Oracle. Double Oracle allows you to tech significantly faster. Triple Oracle allows you to put on more pressure a little bit later on because you have more energy and also potentially deal more damage early on, right? So there's really more potential for damage, but your timings, they're kind of weak. They're kind of, like, they don't hit sharp timings. You're never going to catch someone off guard with a blink timing from triple Oracle. You could still kill someone because you have a lot of sustain, because you have a lot of energy on Oracles. Oracles are the reason why ground units can be on the map. Without Oracles, Protoss simply cannot be on the map. So we have a double Adept Warp, and he's going heavy on the Adepts here. Is that 6? 6 Adepts. What's the Ling count defensively? We're at 15. 47 workers to 56. Is his plan here to deny a third base for a little while? I think that would be a very cute plan, to be honest. I think that is a very cute plan. Third Oracle probably should be heading across the map. Where is it? Oh, it is here. Something you can do as well when you have such a high Adept count that people forget is sometimes you can just engage these queens. Like, these queens are not invincible, you know? They can take damage. And if you get two volleys off with your Adepts, there's only going to be 3 queens. You can just clear the high energy queen and usually you're going to be fine. You could also add in a 4th Oracle sometimes, you know? I feel like those type of little variations we don't quite see enough out of top Protoss players. Where, yes, you're investing a little bit in it, but if you take out 2-3 queens and you keep your Oracles alive, you get a lot of map control with that. You get a lot of harass potential because there's just not going to be enough queens to go around. Mineral count is fairly high here for the Zerg player. Not doing a great job macroing at the moment. It's also going to stop building workers at 60 workers, which is fairly early. I wonder if this is for some type of all-in purpose or what we are doing here. I'm not so sure. It's going to go back into drones. I think this is a bad call, these 7 roaches. That should have been 7 more drones at least. I think 7 more drones and then maybe you want to start considering building stuff. Because Nightmare's not going to hit you for at least another 35 seconds or so. I mean, adding in 2 drones at this point feels weird. Not a fan of this. Absolutely not. I also honestly believe that DRG could have probably continued droning up to a much higher number. Thinking 76, 78. I would even want to say the low 80s, but I think that would be ridiculous. Because there is a significant Stalker force, but I think 76 is definitely possible. Because you play +1 melee, you don't need that many roaches most of the time. You really just need a lot of links. Love this move, by the way. Forcing the Stalkers back home allows you to spread a bit more creep. Maybe get some more drones, although I don't think that's actually what DRG is planning on doing. He's just holding down the unit button here in a big way. It's going to be Ravager Ling Bane. Relatively low gas even, 5 gases. 0 drones right now on this 4th base. This could be an important thing to scout. Well, this is an important thing to scout. But it is something that Nightmare doesn't really seem to care about very much. Ling run by is gonna slip by. Warp in not watertight or not Zergling tight at least. More Stalkers being warped in. There's a couple of these probes will end up falling. Roaches coming in from the west as well here. Will kind of flank these Stalkers. Super Battery gets sent instantly, as this is such a weird attack that should never work. But it is going to depower the Super Battery. Cannon also depowered. And it feels like Nightmare is just kind of dying in such a silly way. Such a sad way. He's gonna lose a couple of workers. Infestation Pit is now on the way. He's gonna lose a lot of workers, to be honest. 12, 13, 14, 15. He's gonna lose every single worker here if he ain't careful. I think DRG could have cleared that a little bit better. DRG still on a low worker count himself as well, though. We shouldn't forget about that. DRG has decided to just stop building workers altogether as like a concept. And okay, now he adds in 11 more. It's like, oh, this went very well, but I don't think I can kill him. It's like, yeah, I don't think so either, buddy. He's gonna go for a run by with these links. Nightmare is gonna clear a little bit of creep with the Stalkers. I just don't quite understand what the plan here is for Nightmare. He's gonna get +2. He's gonna get up to 2-3 Colossus. These links should not be capable of doing anything. That was a silly attack. It really was. Stalkers in a risky spot, don't have oracles with them, do need to kite back and will be capable of doing just that. Supply for Nightmare actually starting to look pretty decent. Hive Tech, I think might just be too late. Do we have thermal lance? No, we don't. So these are short-ranged Colossus. And I have no clue what Nightmare's... Okay, Disruptors now coming in. And he wants to go for a maxed out push. But by the time that Nightmare is maxed out, DRG will have like 12 Brute Lords, 9 Lurkers and 4 Vipers. It's going to be a freaking while until Nightmare's gonna max out, let me tell you. He's at 140 supply right now. He has decent infrastructure. Main base is mining out though. Natural, 2 patches are getting close to mining out. And all DRG needs to do is really simple. He has a base trade army on the map. He continuously scouts for a fort base. And as long as he doesn't see a fort base, you know what he does? Nothing. He doesn't need to do anything. I'm not gonna attack into a 3-base toss. That's idiotic. Makes no sense. Beautiful movement. This army gets pushed back. Left side army tries to go in. This is exactly how you want to be playing. At the same time, Ling attack here. Oracle's already activated, so perhaps a little bit early. Gonna take out these Ravagers at least. Same time we have an attack coming in over here. Supplies for Nightmare starting to look pretty nice. Weird hold position out of DRG. Probably wanted to hold position the left side force. Might need to actually morph in a couple of Banelings, because without Banelings this will be hard to hold. Has 0 Banelings currently on the map. And with this Disruptor count as well, of 2, 3, plus Prism. Like, Vipers are very good, but they don't actually deal damage. They're good at pulling units into you. Banelings are going to be such a huge bonus. I don't understand why DRG is opting to go for Ravagers over Banes. I think Banes are going to be much more useful. He already has the centrifugal hooks. Here we go. We're going to go for a pretty straightforward one-sided attack. Now comes the flank, but this is ill-timed. Purification Novas will need to hit. That's a big fat Purification Nova. Can we get another one? I'm not so sure. No thermal lens, of course. Prism cannot die, and it is going to die with the Colossus in it. Oracles are dishing out a lot of damage. If that Prism hadn't died, I truly believe that this is an absolute clean over here. Nightmare can easily continue pushing in. I think that fight that DRG just took there was crazy. It was a crazy fight. He engaged it in a weird way without any Banelings. And if he hadn't gotten that Prism, I think Nightmare just straight up wins the game there. For now though, it's going to be pure Stalker versus still 19 Roaches that are behind this. There are no Colossus to help out. There's no energy. There are no Disruptors either anymore. And yeah, that's going to make matters a lot harder. Nightmare's still surviving, but that's really all he's doing, surviving. We're either going to need to see Adrenal Glands or really just some added in Banelings. I think it's going to be pretty freaking important. I like higher link counts here as well. I think that would be huge. Can go for a flank, which is also going to be huge. +2 Carapace starting before Adrenal Glands is a suspicious move to me. Not a huge fan of it. Sentries coming in, a couple of force fields. Not gonna help these Stalkers survive very much. Blinding Clouds hitting right now, and yeah, honestly, I think that DRG has just done it. This game got way closer than it should have been. As a Nightmare with kind of a... I mean, no thermal lens, 2 Colossus push. Kind of a failed push. This kind of felt like a failed push. Now we finally have some Banelings on the way. Oh, but this is the entire army. I thought there was going to be more Stalkers behind it. This was just like the scouting crew, but this is the entire crew. That's definitely going to be an issue. If the Oracle's still in the sky, targeting down a lot of these units, Baneling's finally going to start rolling in forward. DRG at 77 workers to the 64. We have long distance mining on this side. As we see the Stalkers continuing to get pushed back. There's also no new unit coming in behind this. It's not like we have Storm or Carriers on the way here. Like, this is it. And the upgrades are truly getting out of control. Oh, he already has Adrenal Glands. I didn't even see that. Well, that makes sense why he would get Carapace then. My bad. Okay, well. He had Adrenal Glands already, and that's fantastic. Yeah, does explain some of these fights a bit better. I mean, DRG is just winning so hard. If you're attacking into a 3-base toss when you yourself are on 6 bases, that's usually a sign that you're really far ahead. And maybe that you're getting a little bit over-eager as well. You know, it's a sign of multiple things. It's completely possible. Something you could do is get like an Infestor. If you get like a Fungal off and you win, or you could just get so many Lings, you can go for pretty much counterattacks and you also win. Like, there's still no fort base, so I think you should actually just go for a straight up counterattack or a flank. One of the two. Yeah. It's going to go for the flank here. As the Lings coming from the back. Oracles are going to activate for one final time. But with this amount of damage output, with this much surface area on the Stalkers, with the Lings, I think the only thing that can happen here is that DRG is going to win this game, to be quite honest. This is an absolute W for our Korean Zerg, and a surprising one. I hadn't expected this. I had not expected DRG to end higher than both Beyond and Solar. Also not higher than Beyond Solar and Nightmare. That's even more unlikely. Yeah, impressive stuff. Really impressive stuff. Curious to see what he's going to be doing in the round of 8. The guy that's good at preparing, so I'm actually kind of hyped for that. Gonna see basically the odd duck in the round of 8. And yeah, can't wait to see what he's gonna bring. It's gonna be it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this series. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.